I see you.
Yo, okay. Woo!
Woo!
Yes.
Hey,
How are you?
how are you doing?
I'm here. I'm alive. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is like to show you that I'm serious. Like I went out and got like the rich kid crayon box.
Ah, 64
Like the it's got the sharpener. It's official. We out here.
Oh yeah, I got my little starter pack here. You can see it. Yes,
Classics.
but of course, to true Layla standard, as when I was a kid, it's missing like half of them, right?
Honestly, I feel that.
And it's Syreeta, correct?
Yes.
Okay, because I imagine people have probably said Syreeta.
Ciao, Syreeta, serendipity, believe it or not. That guy wasn't even trying. And very drunk, I might add.
Serendipity. Oh my. Okay. I got stories too. Okay, so hello everybody out there. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Crayonversation. I'm Layla Hameen from Halo Arts. We have a very, very special guest today. She is remarkable, amazing, hilarious, and talented. And I could go on and on and on and on and on, but that would be wasting you all's time because you're gonna meet her. I would like to introduce you to my friend, Syreeta Briggs. Conversation. We just gather creative people together and we literally color and have conversation, hence Crayonversation. And it's just so informal, totally informal. And it's really just about hanging out because oftentimes we don't really get to see people face to face, you know? And if people live in different states, countries, you name it, like, hey, I can still see you.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh my gosh. And especially now more than ever, it's been wild since the pandemic. I was just thinking about like, yo, have I had any extended interactions with anyone other than my parents within like the last month or so? And I was like, I don't know if I remember how to how to be a functioning human in a conversation that is not with my parents or myself in the mirror. More on that later. But like it's I don't know. I've just been kind of meditating on that here lately, like what the transition is gonna feel like, acclimating to just seeing people again in person. I don't know.
Yeah. It probably will be a process, I will say. Getting regular clothes on and things and like actually putting an effort into like going out and wearing outfits and stuff.
I didn't do that pre-pandemic. So post-pandemic is a whole nother thing.
So what's been going on? What's happening? What's life like for you right now?
Life is pretty peaceful. Life is just peaceful in a way that I haven't experienced, I think, since I was really, really little. And I say that because, well, I just finished my MFA program at the Savanah College of Art and Design.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be done. And that was really weird for a few reasons. One of those reasons being that I was finishing my degree online. Like so many of us, like the pandemic hit and it was like, we can't be in enclosed spaces with one another. It's not safe. Please go home. And so that's what I did. I hopped on a flight from Savannah back to Kentucky, and just been here with my parents, who are both baby boomers, and very much not here for this entirely virtual world that we're living in right now. So yeah, like it's been cool getting to reconnect with them and to see them every day in a way that I haven't literally since I was a child. But also it's a little strange, like taking a class in one room and then my dad, who's a professional musician, he's like in the other room, like blasting on a saxophone. And like in theory, it sounds kind of cool and kind of punk, but like when you're in the middle of a Zoom meeting and like your classmates are just like, what was that? Are you okay? Like, did that come from you? Is that a body part we're hearing? Like, no, I'm fine. I am fine. So yeah, all the things. I'm kind of getting used to this whole thing of like multiple universes kind of happening at the same time, multiple people's lives happening, in a very, very itty bitty living space.
Mm, I relate. I get you.
Yeah.
So you're from Kentucky originally, right? Louisville?
I am West Louisville. And gosh, well, we moved. When did we move? We moved when I was about 11 to Hardin County, Kentucky, which is about like central Kentucky, maybe about 45 minutes south of Louisville. And very different, very, very, very different. Louisville was very much that just going to bed every night, like the house shaking, because literally, like as people would drive by, they would have these insane sound systems that would like rattle the metal of the car. Like, and
Nice.
it would drive by and it would kind of like rattle your soul along with it. Or at least that's how, is that how I want to describe that? Yeah, maybe. But Vine Grove is very much just kind of a farmer's town. Like a lot of people here are involved in agriculture. A lot of military folks live here. And we moved here in large part because a good portion of my family is here. And I'd like to think that I adjusted okay. Like, but there were certainly moments, especially when I was 11, 12, 13, like those pre-teen, early teenage years where it was rough. It was the first time that I had ever gone to school with like a predominantly white kind of environment, because in Louisville, it's very much a melting pot. You're going to school with kids and folks and families that are from all over the world. And then to come from that and then to be, as my parents like to put it, one of the few flies in the buttermilk. God, that saying, I'm not sure how old that saying is. And probably problematic for a few reasons, but yeah, it's like how do I understand who I am in this completely flipped upside down kind of world. And I don't even really know if I'm truly articulating how weird that was, but maybe that's my work, is figuring out a way to articulate just how weird that was.
Yeah. I feel you. I feel you. Like even with the term like the fly in the buttermilk, or like they feel like the chocolate chip that's in the milk or something, there's
Yeah.
all this little phrase that peppered grits I've heard before. Like you're the little speck of pepper and grits.
Yeah. I heard. Wow. It's interesting that there are so many references to food. Like,
Right. What is the food references? Where does that date back to? Huh.
I'd really like to know. I really, really want to know.
So
Oh
you
God.
write a lot about like from your experiences, like growing up. Is that what kind of motivates you to write and create your work and everything?
Hmm. Oh, that's loaded. Cause yeah, in large part, yeah. I think I think the story that I'm telling over and over again is my coming of age story. Um, because it is I always say that Kentucky is a really, really weird place to be Black. It's a really, really weird place to grow up Black. Um, because I grew up sort of feeling like I was the glitch in the system. Like, I'm not supposed to be here. What is happening? Um, because all of the stories that I saw uh, of people that look like me are usually in what we sort of consider like the cultural hubs of America, like your New Yorks, your LAs. Even like the Deep South has more of a, I guess, a defined identity in a lot of the stories that I see in film and television.
Mhm.
But anytime I see anything about Kentucky or anything in the Appalachian region, it's usually whitewashed. It's usually somebody's Meemaw and Papaw living in the mountains, drinking Mountain Dew. And I'm like, where am I? Where are the people that look like me? And
Right.
I think that has a huge part to do with why I tell the stories that I tell, because I just want there to, I just want them to exist. I want people who look like me from these regions to know that like our that we matter and like our stories matter and our existence is not just a happenstance, but like an actual like functioning part of what this place is. And even still it kind of stresses me out to try and describe it, because Kentucky is such a soup. And um and I think for short I call it the soup, because it's so many of the weirdest parts of the Midwest and the South just like swimming in this really weird whirlpool, that the rest of the country doesn't really know what to do with. um, but I think that's where the good stuff is. That's where the juice is. Such a wealth of stories here.
Yeah, like when you mentioned like Appalachia, I thought about what's that movie that just came out? It was based on a book, and it was oh god, Hillbilly, not Hillbilly. What is the name of it? Gosh, it was about this boy, and he grows up to be a lawyer, but his family was out in Appalachia, and his mother was like she had an issue with substance abuse, and the grandmother raised him, and it was a whole lot like Meemaw, Maymaw, like I don't. I can't remember the name of the movie. It just came out on Netflix like this past winter. Oh goodness. Hillbilly Elegy. Hillbilly
Yes.
Elegy. That's
Yes.
it. Okay.
I was like, I know this film.
I'm like, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's hillbilly something. I don't know.
Child, it's always hillbilly something.
I know.
It's always a hillbilly something.
Always. Yeah. I relate because I grew up in Dayton, Ohio. That's where I'm from originally. That's where I
Yeah.
was born and raised, and I lived there for the first 8 years of my life. And we lived in like it was kind of rural, but it was kind of like suburban rural.
Mm.
So it was a mixture. But like at school, it was a predominantly white school, predominantly. And there was a couple black kids checkered in. And then there's me, the black kid that's Muslim who doesn't eat pork. And it was like, man, you real foreign. Like, where you?
It's like, where are you from?
You don't eat pork? You don't eat pepperoni? You know, like, no, I don't think it. No, I can't have it. You know, so there's those. I relate to that. There's moments where I felt like, dang, I don't know where I'm supposed to actually be,
Yes.
but I'm here and I'm occupying some space somehow. I don't know how this happened.
Oh my gosh. I I feel that so in literally like the depths, the squalls of my spleen.
Mm.
Because
You're such
It's
a writer.
just like, where is it? I know there's a word for this. Because it's you know, I'm always fascinated by like the moment I realized I was other, and the moment I realized like, oh, okay, I'm somehow I'm not on this MO with everyone else. Like there's everyone else, there's the norm, there's the average, and then there's me. And people that look like me, or just people who aren't that norm. And I don't know, it's like weird, at least for me. I went through a phase, I think like a lot of kids do. It's like, well, I'm going to do my best to make sure I'm not drawing attention to myself in this sense, or how can I assimilate? How can I acclimate to what's going on around here? Until I realized that what's going on around here is kind of screwed. Like maybe I don't want to be a part of this. But I, you know, I had different, like, I guess my phases, as a lot of parents tend to use that term. Like my phase where I thought I wanted to be on the basketball team for a minute. I thought I wanted to basically I had developed this master plan when I was 11 that like I was going to join the basketball team and then like gain this insane like following of like people who were like, yeah, like Syreeta, you're so awesome, and oh my gosh, like blah, blah, and like, and not even factoring in that I know nothing about basketball. I don't even dribble. I probably haven't dribbled a ball at that point. I mean, does kickball count? And that's not even dribbling. That's not even. So and I just developed this whole, I guess, alternate identity that I was somehow going to come into, thinking that that's the thing that's going to make people like me. And I don't know, it's a weird thing, wanting to be liked, this desire to be liked. I think a lot of people vilify it. A lot of people are just like, you want to be liked? Like, get a like, like, you know, or like you should be, I guess, more I guess unbothered than that. But the fact of the matter is I was a sensitive ass kid with just you know, trying to figure out, not really having a sense of place at that point. And fast forward, didn't make the basketball team, but it was like ultimately the best thing. Because then I joined the drama club. I think the rest, as they say, is history. But I don't know.
So you found your place beyond the
Yeah.
basketball court. You know, you found, like, you made your shot and the ball landed in the hoop of drama.
Yes. 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 Pretty much. I shot and missed, but didn't at the same time. It all ended well in the end. But it's so goofy thinking about it now. I try not to cringe, because some things I think it's easy for me to look back and go like, oh wow, like I was really concerned about these or certain things, or I was concerned about I guess just what it's largely what white people thought is the truth of the matter. But I don't know. I guess there's two parts of my brain. One part of my brain is trying to be very gentle about all of the phases that I had to go through to be where I am now. And then there's another part of my brain that still likes to be very mean and just like, wow, like that was a phase we had to go through. But, you know, it's like, yeah, you know, congratulations. Like everyone else, I'm human. But and I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to belong, you know, or wanting to feel like here's this group of people that care, not only just care that I exist, but actively enjoy the fact that I exist. And that just got a lot deeper than I realized. But
It's all
it's
right.
true.
Yeah, it's true. It's realistic, you know?
Yeah.
People, we as much as we want to say, I don't care, you know, and we do care.
Yeah.
It's hard to admit sometimes how much we do care, because it's like people look at you and be like, "I'll just brush it off. Ain't that big of a deal?" And you're like, "Yeah, it ain't nothing." And you're like, "But it is something."
It actually is. Like,
Actually, you know, something, you know, like, oh man, yeah, I connect to that too.
like say, I was gonna ask because it's been so long since I've seen you. I just like I don't know. I kind of stalk your page, your Instagram page,
I
because
stalk
you're
you
always
too.
really.
I do.
I just like what cool cool creative thing is she up to? Yeah, because I've always admired you. I think I met you. Where did I meet you? Is it like a poetry related thing?
Yes, it was the Bean House Cafe. Cause Sia,
Yes.
I remember you did this Kicking Word performance that you did, and I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, like this girl's good. You know what I mean? She's real good. And I auditioned to be in your play shortly
Yeah.
after. And yeah, I was like, yeah, she's a beast. She's good.
Gosh. I am such a stan for everything you do because one of the first it's true because one of the first pieces of art that I had seen from you was your one woman show, was Laid Off. And I remember because I think you had posted a snippet from it online. I can't remember if I saw it on Facebook or Instagram. I'm pretty sure it was Instagram. Um, and just going, damn, like if I had the courage to do that, if I had the courage um, to tell a story this vulnerably, like what kind of power? Like I knew um then that you're just a force and
So are you. Thank you.
uh, it's it's scary. Like I certainly there's something that I find so enviable about people that can do one person shows, but at that point, which I was still in AKU at the time, I wasn't I was like, but I can't do that. Like I can admire that and I can acknowledge that that is a skill and a craft all its own. But like who am I to think that that this is even a form of storytelling that I am capable of doing relatively well. Um and so I just kind of dismissed it. Like just kind of dismissed that urge in me. And didn't really revisit it until well really by accident,
Mm,
completely by accident now that I think of
really?
it.
Tell the story. Tell the story.
Oh my gosh, I well kids, here's the story about how I decided that I was wrong and actually needed to tell a one-person show. um Literally I just moved to Savannah, so again there's a lot of moving in my
Mm,
backstory now that I'm thinking about it. I've not really sat in one place for too long. But anyway, moved to Savannah, 24 at this point. And I don't know why I squinted like that was so long ago, but okay. And again, another really weird transition. Anytime you move to a new place, it's like there's always that phase of like, where the heck is everything and what is going on? So I went through that, but this time as an adult, and just wasn't really enjoying my time in grad school, because I couldn't really enjoy the city because I was working a lot and like running from work back to class and then from class back to work. And I never really felt like I had time to really just stop and enjoy my surroundings.
Mm.
But all of that changed when I took an improv class. I want to say it was like a spring quarter class because it was really warm. Savannah's hot pretty much all year round, so I can hardly tell the difference sometimes between the seasons. But it was warm. I remember that. And my teacher was actually the chair of the writing department. And she swears up and down that she's not a performer, but I don't think that's true. And she would just start every class with like, okay, and we're going to do something weird, go. And I'm like, okay, something weird, something weird, something weird. And then I stopped like, why am I thinking about this? This is my wavelength. This is my MO. And I would just start like, I don't know, flailing and twirling. And, it's literally just this room full of 20 and 30 somethings like flailing and doing all sorts of random nonsense. And if anyone had peeked in that room at the time, I'm sure they would have thought we were a part of some weird cult. Like, the hell is this?
Filled with the spirit.
look on some wild country shit. It was just okay. All right, we're here, we're in the moment, it's weird, and go. And I remember finishing those exercises always feeling really like exposed. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. Just really naked. Like, you guys just saw a part of me that to that point, was just something I felt wasn't like, there was nothing I could mine from that. How do you even define that kind of energy? It's literally just like, in my head, I was imagining it as like just sporadic nonsense bouncing to and fro. Like, what could possibly come out of this? And after several weeks of doing that, we had done a more focused exercise, and she was like, all right, today we're basically going to feed each other like prompts, and we're going to give you a line and you're going to improv. You're just going to create a character. And I was like, okay, so it's my turn. I step up, and one of the lines that I was fed was, I'm going to die alone. And so I was like, oh, wow. Okay. Literally had this moment of, all right. And I start talking, and for some reason, I don't know, my body just understood. Like, when my brain finally got out of my way, it was like my body sort of took over, and I created this really like small, hunched over kind of shape. And I just remember wanting to make myself as small and compact as possible. And that shape turned into this little girl, literally this little girl who is just forming some sort of castle or some sort of something out of the sand, out of the dirt. and she's talking about how she thinks she's gonna die alone because nobody will play with her. Um, and That went on for maybe about 3 or 4 minutes. And when I stopped, everyone in the class was just kind of like, like, what just, are you okay? and and I sat there like, yeah, like I'm fine. Um, but I really need to see if this kid is okay. And I just remember feeling um again like I've opened a portal here, and I'm not
Mm.
sure what, but let me just see where this goes. And so I couldn't even sleep that night. I stayed up and ended up going to another academic hall, and found a classroom. Nobody was using it. Probably had no permission to use it. I was probably supposed to sign up. I don't know. Schools are weird about things like that. And just took a classroom, locked myself in it, and I was like, okay, cut my camera phone on, and I'm just going to move. I'm going to pick up where I left off in class and figure out what this thing is. Um, I ended up being in that classroom for a little over 2 hours, just improvising, just seeing what's here. And that session became the first draft of my show. And I was like, what the like, what is this? Um, and even then, I thought it was just her. Like some of the other characters in Teeth didn't even come along until almost a year later. But yeah, that's essentially the story. Is like I stumbled upon Blue in an improv session, just listened to see what else was there, and that became Teeth.
Mm.
And I thought that would be a lot more climactic than that, but it's
That's awesome. That's amazing though. Like stuff like that, it just kind of syncs up. Call it the universe, call it a blessing from the Lord, call it what you will. But I feel like when it feels like an accident, it's like on purpose. You know what I
yeah.
mean? As simple as that sounds, but it's like it's a fun accident. Like, you put your chemicals together and you had like a boom explosion in the science lab. And then you came out with this magical show called Teeth from it.
It really feels like the beginning of the Powerpuff Girls like theme song intro, where it's like Chemical X. That moment was the point where Chemical X was thrown into the mix, and here we are. It's just, it's wild to me. It really is.
That's so cool. I dig your visuals so much. Like your visuals are so eye-catching and they're just so different. And what I like about them is that they're so attractive that you have to watch them over and over again and you don't get tired of it. You know what I mean? Like it's the kind of thing like you want to look at it and you're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna let it loop and just watch it because you want to catch every little thing. And it's genius. I think
What?
it's genius. I love your work. It's
That's
genius. Like, yeah, because you capture a lot and it's very, very visual. And that's what stood out to me from like even being a part of your show. It was about, oh God, don't hate me. I forgot the title of it, but it was
no, Invisible Girl. Child,
Invisible
don't.
Girl. That's right. Okay, Invisible Girl. And even then, your language and how you told the story and how you utilized the space that you had, and you had a bunch of dedicated people, and you created something, and it was something that at the end of it, the audience loved it. And like I know my family loved it. They're like, wow, that's really good. Like that girl's really talented, and then just seeing you have teeth come out. and I love saying teeth, by the way, because it's an awesome title. Okay. It will definitely stand out, and it stands out, with teeth. I just love it. I love it. So yeah,
I'm
that's my fangirl gush again. I'm like,
I'm beaming, like, well, as you can see. Like, that's, again, I feel like most of this Crayonversation is just going to be us gushing back and forth about one another, because the feeling is so mutual, Layla. Like, you have no idea. It's because even Invisible Girl was such a special show. It was such a special, like, serendipitous coming together of like really, really powerful and talented people. And I also I look back on that show just like kind of the way that I'm looking at teeth now. Like, how the hell is the universe still intact? Like, has a portal opened up? Like, what is happening? But I mean, it means so much that you enjoy the loops, because I struggled with those quite a bit. Because this show has gone through so many phases. It was supposed to be an on-stage production. That was what, when my university approached me about, like, hey, do you want to, like, actually produce this, and can we give you some resources to make this happen? Of course, I said sure. But we had already started thinking about things like set design and costuming and how are we going to make all the changes. And then COVID happened. And suddenly I had to rethink, not even just the vehicle for this show, but like what constitutes theater in general. Because it's usually this like really physical thing. We are physically gathered in a space experiencing something together. But how do you do that when you can't have a bunch of people in one room at one time? And I say all the time that broke my brain. And I was just like, well, I hear these people. So I said, well, taken out of context, that phrase could be alarming. But like, I promise I'm okay. But it's yeah, I said, well, I'll just record it. I'll just use the voice memo app on my phone, this little GarageBand app I got, and we'll just go. And I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the show being an auditory experience. But I felt like, yeah, like I was missing something. Like there's a whole other element to what this world is and what it could be in a theatrical space that I really wanted to explore. But then I was like, how do I do that? I'm not a lighting designer. I'm not a set designer. I don't work with projections and things like that. I said, well, what do I have? What do I have? I have Instagram. And Instagram has these really, really weird filters that are just there. And I don't know if anyone uses them or not. And I'm not even sure I know the wealth of crazy filters that are available on Instagram, but I'm going to look and I'm going to try and I'm going to see what's here. And just spent a day searching for like these really weird AR type of filters, and wearing wigs, finding wigs around the house, and yeah, just putting it all together. And slowly but surely it kind of made sense. Like, oh, like this is kind of what I was doing in that abandoned classroom over a year ago, is like that's that whole thing of like finding a shape and repeating it, almost like a Chekhov psychological gesture kind of vibe. And I'm like, the fact that I gathered all of that from an Instagram filter is is still beyond me, but we made it work. It worked. And I was like, and I don't know if anyone else is gonna get this. I don't even know if this is gonna make sense, but we're gonna try it. And ended up presenting it to the No, and they loved it. And I don't know, all of that to say, I feel like I'm doing so much talking, but all of that to say that,
It's
like,
fine. It's fine. I love hearing this. This is, and I think people are gonna love to hear it as well. There's nothing wrong with hearing you speak. Okay, this is beautiful.
I appreciate the validation, the positive reinforcement, because I'm like, because I especially, that's one of the things about COVID that makes interacting with actual humans so weird, is like I'm so used to kind of just talking into a vacuum now. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to get into that place where, like, post COVID, and suddenly I'm just like dominating all of my conversations, like, hear me speak because I haven't talked to anyone in over a year. So I'm trying to be very vigilant of that. Trying to
Yeah.
be vigilant.
Hey, we're all creatures of habits and new habits that are yet to come. That's what I think of. I think we're all adapting in these interesting little ways. And
Amen to that, man.
we need communication is so important, and you don't really realize it until you have times like this where it's like, yeah, people communicating, hearing people's voices, talking, relating to them. It's just
Yeah.
so valuable.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, yes.
Like when you were saying that you locked yourself in that classroom and that's how you develop stuff. That's kind of how I developed my ideas too for laid off. I first I got laid off and then I was really depressed, right?
Yeah.
And then my friend Erica told me to go be an actor. And she's like, that's what you wanted to do, right? And I was like, yeah, but how? She's like, write something for yourself. I don't know, do something. And then my sister said I was funny and that I should do something on my own because I love John Leguizamo's Ghetto Clown. That was my favorite. Ghetto Clown is my itch. I was sitting on the couch and my sister and I were watching it and cracking up. And she's like, you could do something like that. You could do funny stuff. She's like, but don't talk about domestic violence. Nobody wants to hear that crap. And I was like, watch me. And I got my journal out and I was like, I'm gonna write a one woman show and I'm gonna talk about domestic violence. I was like,
I'll show you.
I'm gonna do it. But like I made myself because I didn't know where to start. So I bought this camera online and I would set it up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and I would tell stories to myself. And I would just be like, I would look crazy. Like my hair would be sticking up all over my head. Like I would get up and just like work stuff out and just like mold the clay and kind of be like, oh, I kind of like that. Oh, wait, yeah. Ooh, let me watch that back. There was one point I didn't know anything about camera angles because it was just like a basic like Canon camera I had. So there was one point where I zoomed in and didn't realize it, and then I went back and watched my footage. It is just this going. This,
No.
and I'm like, I was like, oh, that's not right. It is those moments where you're like, okay, I can figure this out. I can do, you know what I mean? And then that feeling of when it does come together, and you're like, okay, 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 you know what I mean? So every time I see something that you're doing with it, I was like, oh yeah, she's got the juice, man. She's got the juice. She's got the juice, man. Because it takes guts. It takes so much guts and what is it called? Persistence
Yes.
and a lot of trust for yourself. You got to trust yourself. You can trust other people too, but like you got to trust yourself first because you're like, you got to hype yourself to do it and actually believe you can do it. And that's tough. That's a tough part because it's you. But I think you're nailing it, you know. you're nailing it in your own world. You're creating a universe, which I think is neat. You know how
God.
people say like film, like the Spike Lee film universe, or dare we say the Tyler Perry universe or whatever,
Yeah.
like,
Which is a wild one.
it's
I
a
will.
universe for sure.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
So
just, yeah. I'm learning. I'm in that space where I'm just like, okay, like, and when someone compliments you, sit with that. And it's okay. It's I just feel like I got a cosign from one of my heroes because I literally just got a cosign from one of my heroes. Layla, I don't think you understand like the
made me
sheer number of
cry.
times I have watched clips of Laid Off online. Like it's ungodly. Like and you're absolutely right when you say it's you. Like you have to trust yourself, and I think that's why I was so resistant to the idea of doing a one woman show for so long, because it's like I don't know if I'm ready for that. Do I trust myself to carry an entire show? And to yeah, basically that, to carry an entire show. Um and It's been the most beautiful surprise to kind of just follow this series of like happy accidents,
Mm.
and to be on the other side of that is like, oh, okay, and now I'm here, and now I've done the thing that I've spent all this time psyching myself out over, which is fascinating. But I don't know. I it just means a lot that you enjoy this universe, that you enjoy um what I made. It's like my heart is swelling just with, I don't know, I'm just humbled and moved, and I'm sitting with that right now. I think is what's happening, is like, oh, I did a thing, and it's kind of cool, and other people can enjoy it. I don't know. Maybe that's like just like, kid, I told you that your show was cool. Like it shouldn't have been that deep. But I don't know. Maybe somewhere in my spleen it's that deep. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, when I was like, dang, I was like, okay. Then I was watching all the different characters, like the one with like the long hair. And then there's just so much to look at. I was like, wow, this is really cool. It stands out and it's original and it's fun looking. And I'm just proud of you. I can't say that enough. I'm proud of you, and it's it's a hard battle to get through it, but once you see it done and you see it and you see people enjoy it, and you know um it just makes it feel like, dang, all this hard work and all this was all worth it at the end. So yeah.
It it certainly feels that, like it's I don't know, I'm just excited to yeah, to let people into this world that I guess, now that I'm thinking about it, has really been a part of me all this time. I don't want to sound like a cheesy coming of age film. And then she realized that it was really all inside of her all this time. Trying to resist the part of my brain that wants to be a John Hughes film. But it's really trying to resist that. But you know, it's exciting. It feels like the beginning of an era. It feels like, wow, here's this opportunity for um people to just understand this city in a different way, to understand this region in a different way, and the way that Black people exist in this region in a different way. I'm really, really looking forward to that, because I have yet to see any sort of work um, that really captures how gorgeous people from Louisville sound, and the way we walk, and the way, just the way we exist. Um, that isn't either a Muhammad Ali, a story about Muhammad Ali, which Muhammad Ali is awesome and arguably one of the greatest humans to exist, in my opinion. But Ali got it from somewhere too. Like he was steeped in this city of shit talkers and and shot callers, big ballers. Do I really want to go down this train of thought?
Shot callers.
Look, my brain is a jukebox for sure. but but I think that's what makes the show so fun, in the way that like all of the visuals for the show, or I guess all the visuals for the show so fun is because like it's just an extension of the way my brain works. And I knew like either people are gonna rock with this and it's gonna be like, okay, yeah, like this is cool, or there's always that potential of like kind of being rejected for the same thing, where it's like, we don't get it, it's too weird, it's too out there, and we don't understand what you're doing, so we're just gonna ignore it and act like it doesn't exist. So I knew I was walking that fine line, but I'm so grateful. I'm grateful to have taken the risk. I'm grateful to have taken the shot. I'm grateful that I just said, you know what, I exist, damn it. and this is what it looks like. And maybe it's chaotic and weird, and maybe you can't quite categorize that. And at the same time, maybe that's exactly the kind of art we need right now. Maybe. To be continued.
Yeah. I mean, don't ever feel like those people who will be like, oh, it's weird, I don't get it. It's for them, but they're not for it.
Right.
Like some people will want to be like, well, it has to kind of be this way. You kind of have to have a set this way. You have to have the lighting person this way. You have to have but this is your work and you did it the way you wanted to do it. Right. And so there's always going to be people that are going to have something to say silently, or or verbally out loud, whatever. But just know that there are people that are rooting on you and rooting for you. And it's like, whatever. Let them flap. Let them flap their gums. It's
continue to flap. Oh my gosh. It makes me, in a weird way, even coming in contact with those kind of people makes me all the more grateful for those people who do champion my work. Because I think it's, I sincerely have to catch myself and just think of like all of the moments in my life, in my I guess my journey as an artist to this point. Does that sound weird? But I just think that, like, you know what, I've had a lot of partners in crime. I've had a lot of people who said, yeah, and go do that thing. I've had a lot of people say, just get out of your own way, do the thing. And if it flops, it flops. But like, are you really going to regret the fact that you did the thing, that you took the chance to do the thing? Probably not. You know? And I guess I'm trying to keep from spiraling too much here, but um, it kind of circles all the way back to what I was saying earlier about belonging. I guess this
Mm.
need to feel like, yo, these are my people. Like there are people on the planet who are actively invested in me being okay and me being here, and there's like a mutual exchange of love and light and joy that happens when I'm with these people. um and we could be miles apart, but like the wavelength is very much there. And I don't know, a global pandemic kind of makes you stop and think about like how important that really is. And yeah, to just cherish those people, cherish those relationships.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, do you like the performance aspect, like being in front of an audience, or do you like the behind the scenes creation part better? What is your favorite?
I don't have one. Honestly, I don't have one. I am a hybrid creature. I think I'm finally coming to terms with that. It's like um the work that I love behind the scenes informs the work that I do on stage and vice versa. That I think I like letting those parts of me, those parts of my brain kind of converse and collab. Um and I derive a different joy from either of those things. Like on stage, it's really cathartic because it's literally a release. It's such a physical thing. Um, but with the more, I guess, solitary practices like writing and editing and all of the stuff that can drive me crazy if I if I sit and do it for too long in one time. Um, it's I don't know. It's sort of meditative. Is that the word that I'm looking for? There is sort of a peace and a madness that kind of coexist whenever I write or edit or design a web page. Oddly enough, which is something that I came into doing when this show happened. Um, yeah, different joys, different joys.
Sweet. I feel you. Because it's like you kind of have to like be comfortable doing it all in a way, right? And then you're learning new things as you're doing it. And then you're like, wow, I can kind of like be that robot with multiple hands and different, little skills. So shall we call them little skills? And like just make it happen, you know? It's something. I like both. I like both.
I
I
was
do
gonna
like,
say.
yeah. I like because I've spent a lot of my time when I was a kid, I was very shy and very quiet.
Mhm.
Like I was very shy, I cried in front of classes and stuff when it was time for me to speak. I was that girl. And they'd be like, okay, Layla Heyman, come on up. And I'd be like, first of all, my last name's Hamid. And and I would be nervous, and then acting helped me come out of my shell a lot, so and people now they'd be like, oh, I never know you. So I'm like, actually, I still am a shy person. I just had to push myself out of that box because I felt like I was missing out on so much, and I was like, I want to finally be heard. I got a lot in here. But like I have to get it out and then I'll figure it out somehow. And I'm figuring it out every day.
Amen. I concur with that. It's golly. Our backstory sounds so similar. It's eerie.
Yeah.
Because same thing. Like I started out as a really, really shy kid. I also grew up in a Black Pentecostal church. So it was like a lot. There were so many opportunities to like give Easter speeches and like to lead the choir and like all of these, all of these public speaking opportunities, and I just wasn't about it. As a kid, I was very much that kid that cried in the middle of her solo. But I look at that little girl with so much love now, so much love and so much warmth, and I said, let me not try not to.
It's the Crayonversation.
Yeah.
It's the crayons, man. I tell it's
You drew like a picture. Mine's more of like an abstract, like
yours is, I mean, mine
moment.
is like, it's like yours is a picture. Mine is just doodles, man. Come on.
No, yours is Layla. Art.
Art. I wrote I am human there. I don't know if you can see it. I am human. And then I put hero heart. This is gonna go on the Crayonversation's Instagram page. So every picture that people draw that I posted is on the Instagram page, and it's just like, hey, this is what this person drew. This is what I drew that day.
By the way, we are artists. Okay.
Yeah. We're artistes.
Yeah, excuse me. For true.
Yeah. So as a creator, what are you watching? What do you enjoy watching? Do you watch TV, movies, Netflix, or are you one of those people that like stays away from those types of media, or what do you do?
I primarily watch reality show trash, and I'm not even kidding about that. It's not trash to me. So many people call it trash. No, but I guess a more truthful answer is I watch it all. It's just that like since the pandemic, I've been obsessed with reality shows. Like I watch Little Women Atlanta, I watch Real Housewives Atlanta. Atlanta-based reality shows, I'm realizing, are the best. No. Let's see, what else? I mean, obviously all of the like award-winning things that are out right now, like One Night in Miami. What else is blowing up the scene right now? Soul. I'm obsessed with Soul.
I still haven't seen that, but I heard it was amazing.
Oh my God. It's leave it to Pixar to make this like really, really cute kids film about like souls and the meaning of life and where they come from. And it's a beautiful piece of work. I envy it so much. What else am I watching? TV's in and out for me. Like cable TV, I kind of have a love-hate relationship with. I've kind of crossed over into like being a fan of mostly like streaming platforms. Pose, which season 3 is getting ready to come out. I'm obsessed with that show.
Oh yes.
Oh my God, that show is so good. What else? I've been binging Girlfriends on Netflix, which is also a cultural phenomenon.
Yes.
Golly, it's like as things come to me, I just blurt them out. But I'm sporadic. My tastes are all over the map, and I think that's kind of why the art I make is also all over the map. Blaxploitation films, I'm actually a huge fan of. But obviously not for the context in which they existed originally, but like, but I like the characters. I do.
What's your favorite one?
Oh, can I answer that question? Okay.
Or what are your like, I don't know if you have multiple favorites, like what are some of the ones that you enjoy the most? Which is basically the same thing as your favorite, but I just reworded it.
Golly. I mean, I'm a fan of all the Foxy Brown films. I will forever be a Pam Grier stan. Golly, I like a lot of the like goofy horror type of films, like Blackula, and like I just dig shit like that. Can I say shit?
Yes, yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Jesus.
I'm just saying it for the kids. Kids, don't watch this one. Watch story time. This is adult time.
Not for the kids. It ain't for the kids. Like, yeah, I'm obsessed. But those are the two that come to mind that I'm just like, oh yeah, like I would watch that again and again.
Did you ever watch Jackie Brown, the Quentin Tarantino movie?
You know what? I have it on DVD, but I've never watched it.
I remember seeing it when I was younger. It's long. It's a long movie. I think I have to rewatch it as an adult because as a kid, my uncle rented it for us. That's how long ago he rented it for us from Blockbuster. And we watched it. Right, it's been that long, and I just remember thinking like, this is such a long. I didn't get what was going on. I was probably like, I don't know, 12, 11, not into, but I think as an adult, I might watch it and actually pay better attention to it. Because Pam Grier, she's amazing. She's so amazing.
She's, again, a force. So it makes me so angry when, how do we get here? It makes me so angry when like so many people sleep on people who are just out of this world talented. Like Pam Grier is one of those folks that I think is so heavily slept on. Like, dog, don't sleep. Pam is Pam. Pam
Yes.
is Pam.
I read her biography about 5 or 6 years ago, her autobiography. And I just happened to see it in the library and I was like, oh, she seems interesting to learn about. And I read that book and I was like, oh, wow. Like she's special. You know what I mean? Like protect her, put her in a blanket and keep her warm forever. Cause like
one of my put her in a blanket for her. I love it. She's one of my favorite roles is actually her role in a Tim Burton film called Mars Attacks. And I don't know how many people remember Mars Attacks.
I remember aliens. Are there aliens in it?
Yes. In the best way possible. It's goofy, and kind of disturbing. Like I think Tim Burton kind of has this. It's Tim Burton. Anytime you watch anything Tim Burton, there's going to be an air of just like a portal. I don't know even how to describe this. Like a portal opens up when I watch anything Tim Burton, but it's a great film. It's a really great film. I feel like I'm not like super articulate in describing like all of the dope points about certain movies. I'm very much that person who's like, yeah, it was great. It's like, okay, like, can you elaborate? She's like, no, it was great. Great. I enjoyed these things. But please don't ask me to elaborate on them.
I feel ya. When something is great, you know what? That's the answer. That is my final answer. It's a great movie. Okay, it's great.
Like, yes, but like, what about the lighting and like the direction and the shots and the cuts? And I'm like, I don't know. Huh? It was great. What else do you want from me?
I'm one of those weird people that if I'm around a lot of people, I notice like with a lot of actors, they'll talk about films and stuff and they'll know everybody's names, like the actors, and I'll be like, oh yeah, that one guy that's in that movie. And they'll be like, you mean so and so? And I'm like, yeah, him. But anyway, it was a really good movie. Not
Yeah, yeah.
disrespecting the person, but I don't know. I just commit to like the character's name, or I'll just remember how that person made me feel. But I'm really bad with like names unless they're like in my ear all the time, you know? So
Yeah. I'm the
yeah.
person who says, oh yeah, home dude from home, it's home dude, you know? Like it's awful. It's uh like
That's
faces and
hilarious.
feelings, but I remember very well names. Keep me lifted up in prayer.
Yes, that's my sentiments exactly. It's like there's that saying, some people might not remember, what is it? Oh, because I used to
Yeah.
work with Alzheimer patients, and they used to always tell us like they might not remember you, but they'll remember how you make them feel. And I'm like, that's so
Right.
true. Because they sometimes don't remember you. And they remember the feeling.
Yeah. She's like, oh yeah, when we did that thing, when we saw that thing. So true.
Oh, Missy, do you miss NKU? You miss it?
Mm.
Parts of it? Or
You know what I miss? Um, I mean, I miss my friends. I don't think I so much miss the campus as much as I miss the people who just made that experience so incredible. Um, and that's across the board, like friends, professors, mentors, like anyone that I came in contact with that I spent like a significant amount of time with. Um, I just have really dope memories with those people. And there's not a day that goes by where I think like how cool would it be um to just be in a in a room with some of those folks again and like make new memories. And I get a little emotional sometimes thinking about it, but like but it's honest. It's honest. And I actively want to be better about just reaching out um and just saying hey because I think oftentimes I kind of overthink it. How am I spiraling into this conversation? But like I sometimes I think I overthink um interactions. It's like, you know, there doesn't always have to be a reason why I'm saying hello, you know, just say hey, just pop in, just make sure your peoples are doing okay. I think we could all use that right now for sure. But I do. I miss the folks.
yeah, I feel the same way. Like I went to NKU. Like when I met you all, I was like the old lady that had already graduated like years ago. And I was like coming back on campus like, oh, this is a little different. You know, like,
Yeah.
something has changed here. I mean, I think because I got my bachelor's in 2007, the winter, and then I got my master's in 2010. And so I graduated and I made some really great friends. But like I've never been like, I gotta go back to campus now. You know what I mean? It has to be a reason for me to go. You know,
Yeah.
I didn't dislike it. I just wasn't like attached to the campus. It was like the memories, the people, the experiences, and to see shows. You know, I would like to see plays and stuff that, you know, but like my mom was like, do you miss your old stomping grounds at NK? I'd be thinking like, I did go there, but I didn't like stomp around. You know what I mean? I was like,
Yeah. I
I
kind
was,
of just tiptoed, you know, just kind of did a little June bug, you know, like,
I was doing a little two-step, you know?
you know, Something light.
And they call and ask you for money and stuff and be like, would you like to donate to? I'm like, I'm still paying my student loans off from undergrad, so I can't. Sorry.
Exactly. I'm like, can y'all pay me some money? Is the real question. We in a whole panoramic, all right? Look,
Right.
look. Hard. It's hard
We
for
in
a
a
lot
whole
of us.
Panda Express. We oh my gosh.
Oh
How's
my
your
God. Oh, how's my picture coming? Is that yes?
Yes. Let me see.
It is looking. I
Oh wow.
kind of like a
Long.
geometric.
Oh, nice. Hold it up
Yeah.
again. Let me see. Hold it up again. I want to make sure the camera gets it.
Yeah.
See, that's slick. I love it.
It's I'm like, man, I need to do this more often. It's cathartic.
Yeah. Coloring is my jam. I love coloring. And just, I don't know, I doodle a lot. Like in everyday life, I'll be just doodling. And a lot of my documents and stuff, I'll be like, crap, that has a whole bunch of swirlies on it. And I probably shouldn't swirl on that because that has to be seen by somebody else.
Just like, oh, my bad.
Sorry, just ignore that little squiggle.
Just throw little squiggles in, it's squiggles are the spice of life.
Yes. It's the everything bagel seasoning. See?
Look, it's the Oh my gosh.
The funnest conversations I've had in a long time.
It's just so good to see you, man. I just thank you for this. This is just therapeutic and cathartic and wonderful and gorgeous, and I'm so glad I could be a part of it.
Yes. And I'll be doing some other panel videos too, because I'm trying to organize where I get just people together on like a Zoom panel and we just like talk about a given topic and just get different creatives together and have our little faces pop up like the Brady Bunch and just like talking.
I love that visual.
I really want to get a lot of like African Americans and people of color together, just to have our voices just kind of like come out like, oh, hello everybody, we're here and we're diverse and we're not all one monolith. We're not all just from one area,
Message. Okay. We exist all across the United States, all across the world. We global, baby. We is global.
Okay? We big global, baby. Yes,
been
baby.
global.
Yes. Yes. And with the way things are going, I was like, I just want to reach out to people and just connect the best way I know how to. And right now it's the internet and it's through Zoom. And yep.
No. I'm just like with Zoom. So have you been experiencing any Zoom fatigue at all? Because I know like there are days where I'm like, Zoom is great. And then there are some days where I'm like, I don't want to look at a screen for the next month. Do you ever get tired of it? Or is it just like, you know what? And I'm here, I've adjusted.
Well, the thing is with me, I've used Zoom in such an interesting way. I had a job interview, like a job I have now. My interview was through Zoom and I'd never had a job interview specifically through Zoom. And then my second interview was like a tour of the house through Zoom. And so like, it was just like, they had my head on this laptop.
It's like, okay.
And they were turning the laptop and stuff. And I'm like,
just like, where are we? We have entered the Twilight Zone. This is exactly where we are.
So my time on Zoom is really, I'm happy because it's when I really want to be on it. So like if I'm doing Crayonversations or like if I'm what else have I used Zoom? I don't really use it a whole bunch. Like if I have a rehearsal or something. But other than that, I use it so minimally that I haven't been burnt out on it yet. And I'm happy about
Mm.
that.
Uh,
Because yeah, but I hear that Zoom burnout is serious. I've heard that.
I I was definitely experiencing Zoom burnout, especially towards the end of like classes for me. I had just gotten to the point where I was like, all right, like I'm kind of tired of seeing y'all's heads. I'm tired of trying to make sure I'm not on mute. Okay, I said what I said. I would just put it in the chat and like y'all, I'm not gonna say it again. I was literally like that cantankerous kind of like, how do you work this contraption? That was me. That was me in class. And slowly coming out of that, to try to embrace, because it seems like this is going to be a part of our world for a little bit. So trying to buckle in, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's teaching so many people to just kind of like have a plan B, have a plan C, you
Yeah.
know. It's definitely tricky. Like even like musicians, they're like itching to play out public, and then now it's
Yeah.
not about filling the crowd up anymore because guess what? Can't have full rooms anymore. You gotta have another reason why you want to do this, like
Uh,
it's almost like you want to get a full house, like even in theater, like they want tickets sold and we want bodies in the seats, and now you got bodies probably, but they all like spread out and you
yeah.
can't have a big bunch of people no more, so it's like gotta
It's just
regroup
like,
and
yeah, it's wild, dude. Because like, I know a lot of folks have just kind of been contemplating like, is this the end of theater as we know it? Um, but I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think we're just finding new ways to gather. And sometimes I'll even admit, like, I'm kind of resistant to certain forms of internet internet ways of connecting on the internet. I like that phrase better. Um, you know, I'm not a big fan of Zoom, but like, I love, but I love audio. I love SoundCloud. I kind of like Instagram on a good day, and like in a weird way, I've found a way to gather that way and to gather people that way through the show. I don't know how somehow this is connected. I feel like my brain is kind of in that mode where I'm like, yeah, we know what you're saying, but like, is it actually making sense? Um, so forgive me. This might partially be pandemic brain, but yeah. All of that to say, all of that brain dribble to say, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful.
yeah. I feel you too. I had a friend recently tell me about, like, we were talking about movie theaters and how like movie theaters are different, and I'm
Mm,
one of those weird people who has gone to the movies in the last 2 months because I wanted to go, and it was
yeah.
just me by myself in the theater at one point, and I was like, okay, chill, but I can still do this at home, but I wanted to go. And we were
Mm,
talking about how all these movies are like being released on like Amazon Prime, and you can see it in the theater and at home, and is this how cinema is going to change? And it's like, I guess we're gonna adapt with the times, however it goes. I don't know.
yeah. It's a paradigm shift for sure. And it's really dark here. Oh my God. I just realized that my square is darkened quite a bit. But like it's a paradigm shift. We're all riding that wave. And I'm really interested. I think we're gonna see a lot of innovation happen because of it. I really do. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that's gonna be like in the next few years. But
Aw.
oh
Well,
my God.
Sarita, I don't want to take up so much more of your time. I have so much fun talking to you. This has been so fun. And like, I didn't even have to write any questions to prepare. I was just like, I'm just going to talk to her.
Yeah.
Like, that's
It's been like a reunion, truly, in the best way. Oh my gosh. Again, it's kind of like when it's like coming home. That's what this conversation has felt like for me. Is just coming home, an old friend. So thank you for even thinking to invite me on this wonderful, wonderful project. Because I also stalked the Crayonversation page quite a bit. And I'm such a fan. So thank you for sharing time and space and energy.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing your time with me and sharing your gifts with the world. And everybody check out Teeth, please. Download it, love it, like it, tell your friends about it, please. And it's on the Radio No webpage, correct?
Yes. On the Radio No webpage, which I believe is a subsection of the Nose webpage. So if you go to the Nose webpage, you'll find it.
Sweet. And I'll put the link so people can link it and click the link and make it so everybody can see it. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Well, thank you so much. And I really appreciate it. And don't be a stranger. And you're always welcome within the Halo Arts universe.
Oh my gosh. That means a lot. Just thank you, Layla. This has been awesome. All right, fam.
All right, darling. Well, I will. Oh, that was my finger all in this. Okay, sorry.
I'm just doing the same thing. I'm like, where am I going?
I'm a boomer.
Oh my gosh. Oh my Jesus. What is this? Can't call my nephew. How do I turn off?
Come over here and turn this thing off for me.
It's only up from here, kids.
Well, have a great night. Love you.
Love you. Bye, Layla.
Bye,
Savanah. All right, here we go.